Hey kids, welcome back to American Textbook Reading. I'm Brian Stuart. We're on Lesson 3 right now. Lesson 3, the topic is People Find New Homes. So an interesting topic, right? If you look at the country, a country, for example, like America, that's a new home. In this unit, you will discover the U.S. is a country with people from all over the world, So it's like people find new homes, and this is very true for America. Many people from all over the world find a new home in America. Let's take a look at this subject. First of all, what is a country? If we talk about a country, what do we mean by that? A country is a particular area, a particular, like unique or a certain area with its own people and own government. Very important, right? A country has its own government. If it has a different government, it's a different country, right? So a country has its own government and, of course, its own people. And we can see in America, this is a very interesting map of America. You can see many, many different types of people. But they're all Americans, right? And they have their own people and especially their own government. There's only one government for all of these people. Now, when we talk about people who move from one country and they move to another country, right, we can talk about immigrant. An immigrant is someone who comes to a country to live as a citizen. Not a tourist, right? We don't mean tourist. Not a tourist, right? A tourist is someone who goes to another country just to look around, and then they go back home to their own country. But an immigrant is someone who goes to another country because they want to live in that country. They're going to change their country. And many people do this all over the world. Someone who comes to a country, a different country, to live as a citizen. Of course, this is a picture from a long time ago. Looks like Europeans coming to America to live. America really is, by the way, a country of immigrants. Most people in America, their parents or their parents' parents or their parents' parents' parents came from another country. America is really a country of immigrants. To move, okay, we're talking about to immigrate or immigrants. Immigrants have moved from one country to another country. So to move means to change where a person lives. Of course, move doesn't just mean you move from one country to another country. You can move from one place in a country to another place in a country. For example, you could move from New York to Los Angeles. You're not an immigrant, you're just changing your city. You can move from Seoul to Busan. You're not an immigrant, you're just changing your city. You're moving. You're changing where you live. Move, of course, is a verb, to move. Okay. Language. When we move to different countries, or when immigrants come to a country, we have to think about languages, different languages. Language, of course, is the means of human communication using either voice or letters. Right now, I'm using my voice. I'm communicating with you. I'm using a language to communicate with you. What is the language? Yes, it's English. I'm communicating with you in English. I'm using my voice, and I'm also using letters. You can see the letters on the slide, and I'm communicating with you using a language, and that language is English. Normally, you communicate with your friends and family in Korean. So there are different languages. So language is the means of human communication using voice or using letters. I've never seen anybody do that, though. I've never seen letters come out of somebody's mouth. Okay, it's just an interesting picture. Okay, it's a 재밌다 사진, right? It's an interesting picture. Okay, or maybe he's eating the letters. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, but anyways, you get the idea. He's speaking. He's saying something. So he's using his voice, or you can write down the letters. Okay. Different. something that's different, not the same. We don't want things to be the same all the time, do we? That's boring. It's interesting if things are different. What does different mean? Different, not the same. If everybody looked the same, oh, nomu nomu shim shim heo, right? Nomu, it's very boring. We want to see difference, right? So we see somebody who's different. That's great, right? It's change. But don't be too different, right? Still be a nice person, right? But it's nice to see difference. It's nice to see something that's not the same. Okay, so we're talking about different here. Okay, get along. Now, we just talked about different, right? Not everybody is the same. And that's good, right? We don't want everybody to be the same because that's boring. It's nice to have difference, but like I said, be nice. Just because you're different doesn't mean that you should do bad things, right? That's not what we want. We want people to get along. Get along means to live with others without trouble. No trouble. Okay? If you get along with other people, it means you live with other people and you're happy, they're happy. Hey, you like each other, you're friends. You can be different, no problem. That's cool. But you don't want to have trouble between people, right? You want everybody to be happy. And if everybody is happy and everybody likes each other and they enjoy being with each other, then they are getting along. It's very good to get along with other people. And even if they're different, who cares? You can learn from them. Or you say, wow, that's cool, that's different, that's neat. And so that's a good idea, right? So get along with other people, even if they are different. Okay, now we talked a little bit about all over the world. At the beginning of this lesson, I said people come from all over the world to come to America. All over the world, it's not one word, right? It's an expression, but it's a good expression to remember as one unit. It's a good point. When you learn new words, don't just learn one word. Learn words in groups and expressions. This is a good expression to remember. All over the world. It means anywhere or everywhere in the world. All over the world. Anywhere in the world or everywhere in the world. If you say, I want to go all over the world, that means you want to go everywhere in the world. If you say people are coming from all over the world, it means they're coming from anywhere in the world. So it means anywhere on earth, all over the world. We have a new word here, an interesting word, recreation. 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 Recreation means a thing to do for fun and during free time. So when you have free time, take a break from studying. If it's a nice day, go outside, have some fun, do some fun activity. That's called recreation, right? Recreation also means to have fun. By the way, recreation, we can also say hang out. When people hang out, they're having fun. They're hanging out with their friends. They're spending time with their friends. Maybe going to a movie, going to a coffee shop, sitting around talking. They're hanging out. Hanging out is a common type of recreation, doing something for fun. Okay, we have our chart here. We're talking about people finding new homes, people moving from one country to live in another country. And we can see that when that happens, immigrants bring their cultures. They bring their cultures with them. So what parts of their culture do they bring with them? Well, they bring their language, right? There's many different languages. You can say in English, thank you. In German, danke. In Italian, grazie, right? Or there's lots of different, vielen Dank is up here. That's German. I don't know what some of these other ones are. Oh, gracias, gracias, that's Spanish, right? So many different languages. We can't know all the different languages in the world, but we know a few of them. Language is part of culture. Food, that's an important thing that immigrants bring with them, especially if they come and they meet other immigrants from the same country. They bring food. America has a lot of different types of food Because there are many immigrants. Like I said before, America is a land of immigrants. So there's so many different kinds of food. There's Italian food, there's Chinese food, there's Mexican food, so many different types of food. Okay? So that's part of their culture that they bring with them. Clothes. There's lots of different styles of clothes. In fact, where I went to school, I went to college, university in Salt Lake City. There's a large Greek population in Salt Lake City. Sometimes during the year, they have a Greek festival, and you can see people wearing special clothes from Greece. Another place I lived in was in Nevada. And there are people from Spain called Basque people, and they have different festivals. They wear different clothes and have games, and they even have their own language. So it's very interesting to look at the different clothes that people wear, even in America, that they brought from their home country. Okay, recreation, of course, there's many things people do. I just gave you an example, right? When Greeks or Basque people have festivals, they have certain things that they do. Some types of games, maybe some types of contests. Maybe they have, maybe they just sing. It's not a game or a contest, it's just singing or dancing. Recreation, doing something for fun. There's so many different things that people do from different cultures. Now it's interesting, all of these are coming, right? All of these are coming to the United States by different people from all over the world. They're bringing their language, they're bringing their food, they're bringing their clothes, they're bringing their recreational activities, and they're bringing them all to the United States because, again, America is a nation of immigrants. Okay, let's take a look. Oh, there's no video. Where's the video? What's going on? Well, is anything happening here? Oh, we've got something. Here comes somebody. Oh, there's another person. Wow, look at all these people. There's red, white, and blue. Red, white, and blue? What are those colors? Those colors, of course, are the national colors of America. Wow, pretty cool, huh? See, like I said before, America is a land of immigrants. You have many different people making up the country. And this, of course, is symbolic. This is a symbol, right? This looks like the flag of the United States. And it also looks like the shape of the country. You know, blue, white, and red stripes, right? So blue and white for the stars, and red and white for the stripes of the flag. But it's also the idea that it's not just one color, it's not just one group, it's many different groups coming together and living together and hopefully getting along. Okay, now it's time to do our word matching exercise. Match the word to the definition. You ready? Here we have our words. Country, country. Immigrant, immigrant. Move, very easy. Language, language. Different, different. And get along, get along. Okay, let's match these words to their definitions. Number one, not the same. Not the same. They are not the same. They are, of course, different, right? They are different. They are not the same. So something that's not the same as everything else, that thing is different, or that person is different. Number two, to change where a person lives. So you're in one place and you want to live in another place. What do you do? What do you do? Of course, you move, right? Move is our answer. Number three, to live with others without any trouble. No trouble. To live together or side by side or near other people, no trouble. What is that? That, of course, is get along. You want to get along with other people. You don't want to have trouble with other people. You want to be happy. You want to get along with other people. Enjoy their company, right? 4, someone who comes to a country to live as a citizen. So somebody who comes from another country, they come to this country and they live as a citizen. What do we call them? Which one of these words is someone who comes to a country? That's right, it's immigrant. Immigrant is a person, someone, a person who comes to a country to live as a citizen. Number 5. Number 5 is a little difficult. The means of human communication using voice or letters. right? All these letters, L-E-T-T-E-R-S, using voice or letters. What do we say? We say, of course, that is language. Language. By the way, I just thought of something. Some students call these not letters. Sometimes I hear students call these alphabets. These are not alphabets, right? If you're looking at each letter in a word, don't say alphabets, say letter. Alphabet is the set of letters. It's all the letters, okay? But M is a letter, O is a letter, V is a letter, E is a letter. So when you use letters, when you write letters, you're spelling words. Of course, letters, all of them together, that makes an alphabet. So be careful there. I hear some mistakes in that area. Okay, number 6. A particular area with its own people and government. So we're talking about a particular area, a certain area that has its own people and its own government. What do we call that? Of course, that is called a country. A country. A particular area, its own people, and especially its own government. Okay, let's take a look at a chart here. Immigrants in the United States. Where do they come from? We talked about many, America is a nation of immigrants. We talked about all over the world, but specifically, where do they come from? Where do most immigrants to America come from? Well, we see a nice chart here. We see in the past and we see nowadays. In the past, before 1960, most immigrants were coming from these countries. Especially in the beginning, most immigrants came from Great Britain, but also at the same time, many immigrants also came from Germany. These two countries were very common for early Americans. The first Europeans to come to America were usually English or German. There were also many Polish and many Italians that followed afterwards, especially Italian that came a little bit later. But that's before 1960s. Nowadays, these days, now, most immigrants are coming from where? Interesting idea. Well, of course, many immigrants are coming from Mexico. That's easy because Mexico is just south of America. It's very easy to get to America from Mexico. And unfortunately, many Mexicans have a hard time in their country because it's harder to find jobs, and other political and economic situation is not as good as in America, so many Mexicans do want to move to America. Many immigrants come there. India, there's many people in India are going to America. A lot of times it's Indians who go there to study. A lot of engineering, medical students come to India. They look around America and they say, wow, there's a nice place. I'd like to stay here, and sometimes they can bring their families. So that's a very common situation. Of course, many people from India also are coming. They're not students. They're just looking for a better working environment or better working conditions. And of course, there's many people also coming from China these days. Again, a similar kind of idea. They're looking for not only better economic opportunities, but also freer political system, a democratic system, because China is not democratic. So this is very interesting to look at where most immigrants come from. This chart doesn't mean that only these countries are sending immigrants. These countries are the most common countries where immigrants are coming from. But of course, you can find immigrants from all over the world in America who are living in America now. You know, from Africa, from different parts of the Caribbean, from South America. There are immigrants from all over the country living in America. In fact, in Korea too. Many places in America you can go and you can find Koreatown, or you can find Korean restaurants. I really didn't notice it before, but after living in Korea, sometimes when I go back to America, I'll be walking along and I see, whoa, there's a sign in Korean. It says Setakso, right? What? This is America. Am I back in Korea? No. It's just a small community of Korean immigrants who've come to America to live. So it's very interesting. It's kind of common, actually. In many big cities in America, you can see these types of signs. Okay. Let's take a look at the mini quiz. Complete the sentence to best describe the pictures. So here's our sentence here. There are several pictures here. Okay. The picture of here, it's a certain type of food, isn't it? Of course, you know what kind of food this is. You know it right away, right? It's pizza, right? Pizza. By the way, where does pizza come from? What's the idea here? Pizza comes from Italy, right? People think that it's Italian food. So that's something that Italian immigrants have brought to America. Over here, what's going on here? Looks like a parade, right? There's a big dragon here. So it looks like it's a parade for maybe Chinese New Year's, right? So that's a parade, just a parade going on here. A parade, and it looks like Chinese New Year's parade, maybe in San Francisco. Okay, over here, what are these guys doing? And who are these people, right? This is very interesting. These people, this is also a parade, but where did these people come from here? You see people wearing green, and they're wearing the little hat. They're supposed to be leprechauns. That's kind of a hard word. Oops, my pen. Leprechauns. A leprechaun is somebody from Ireland. Okay, so these people are from Ireland, and also these people are from Scotland. They are blowing bagpipes. Whoops, that's an A, not a G. Bagpipes. So these people are from Ireland and also from Scotland. Okay, Great Britain. Okay, so bagpipes, leprechauns. These people are supposed to be leprechauns. So what are they doing? They have food. We have certain types of parades, certain types of holidays, and we have certain types of music and dress. What are all these things? Immigrants bring their cultures with them. Okay, it's now time to go over our true-false questions. Let's take a look at these sentences, see if they're true or if they are false. Number 1, get along. So we're just looking at these two words here as one unit or one item of vocabulary. Get along means to change where a person lives. So if you want to change where you live, you want to get along to another place. Does that sound right? No, that's not right. That's false. Not get along. Get along means to live with other people and have no troubles, no problems. So that's not correct. To change where a person lives, what is that? What means that? Of course, you know it's move. We just talked about that. Move means to change where a person lives, not get along. So we have to change it. That's false. Number 2, an immigrant is someone who comes to a country to live. So an immigrant is a person, right? Yes, it is. An immigrant is a person. A person who does what? Who comes to a country to live. That's true. We say an immigrant is someone who comes to a new country to live, and they moved from another place. 3, a country is a thing to do for fun during free time. So all of these are definitions, right? Get along means to, an immigrant is. Here, a country is. A country is a thing to do. A country is an activity? We say a country, a place to live, is an activity? That doesn't sound right. Right there we can see that that's false, right? A country is not a thing to do. A country is a place. So we have to change this. What is a thing to do for fun during free time? What word did we learn that means it's a thing to do for fun during free time? I gave you an example. Hang out is something that people do for fun or during free time. Remember what we said? It's one word starting with R, recreation. Recreation is a thing to do for fun during free time. We have to change it. It's false. Okay, well that wraps up the vocabulary section, Let's take a short break here. We'll come back and we'll take a look at the reading passage, so don't go away. Okay, let's go over the reading passage together. Again, we're talking about America is a nation of immigrants, right? Here we have America is a country with many people who have moved from other countries. That's exactly what we're talking about, right? America, that's the name of the country, is a country with. Now we have some definition about that country. With many people, and then we have with many people who, and then we have some definition about the people who have moved from other countries. Whew, it's kind of a complicated sentence. America is a country with many people, people who have moved from other countries. So again, it comes back to the idea that America is a land of many immigrants. From the 17th century, the 17th century is a long time ago, right? So there's a history of immigrants. From the 17th century, many immigrants wanted to move from Europe to the United States, okay? So we're talking about immigrants, right? People who move from one place to another. They wanted to move from Europe to the United States. To do this, in order to do this, how did they do this? To do this, they had to cross the Atlantic Ocean. Now again, we're talking about the 17th century. It's a long time ago. There were no airplanes. It took a long time. They had to get in a boat, and the boat didn't have a motor. It had sails. So if there's no wind, it took a really long time. And the waves were going like this, up and down, for months. It's a very difficult journey. But people came from Europe to the United States, crossing the Atlantic Ocean. The people who come to the United States nowadays come from all over the world. So basically in the 17th century, the people who came to the United States were from Europe. But nowadays, in these times, people come from all over the world. It's not just Europeans, it's Asians, it's Africans, it's South Americans. It's everywhere, all around the world, people are coming to America. They, who's they? People who come to the United States. These people here, they come to the United States with their cultures. Of course, as they come to the United States, they're bringing their culture with them. What kinds of culture? What parts of their culture? These new immigrants, again, this refers back to they, which refers back to the people who come to the United States. These new immigrants often, usually, have a different language, clothes, food, and recreation activities. So all of these things here are talking about culture, right? They bring their different cultures. They bring their language. They bring their clothes. They bring their food. And they bring their recreation activities. They're different from each other. They're different from what is going on in America when they come there, right? When the Italians first started coming to America, they found mostly British people, English, or German people. And Italians had different food. They had different dress. They had different language. So they brought those things with them. Okay? And it got all mixed up together, right? Okay, so learning and sharing the different cultures helps us get along with each other. So people are bringing different dress. They're wearing different clothes. They're speaking in a different language. Sometimes they look differently, the different color of skin. But it's important that we learn and we can share. That way we can get along with each other. If somebody is different, that doesn't mean that it's bad. It's good, it's cool, it's neat. If everybody's the same, it could be kind of boring. We can learn and share culture and language and customs with each other. It makes our mind bigger. It makes us interested in many other countries around the world. And that's great, right? And we can get along with each other better. People look and speak differently, right? But all cultures and all people are special. Just because people might look and speak in different ways, that's okay, because everybody is special. You know, everybody's special, everybody's unique, true, but it's also true that everybody's kind of the same, really. A lot of different, you know, even if you're from Korea, you're from America, you're from Europe, you're from Africa, people have the same ideas, really. They have the same wants and desires. And of course, everybody is special in their own way. Let's take a look at a video here. This is a video, looks like a demonstration in America. And by the way, this demonstration can't know just by looking at the demonstration. Sometimes it's hard to know what's going on. But if you read the signs, you can see some interesting things. This sign is coming up here, stop the I think it says deportation, because before I saw a sign that said ICE. ICE is the government organization in charge of immigration. Now that's interesting, because in America, America is a nation of immigrants, right? Most Americans came from another place. But nowadays, there are too many immigrants. Some Americans say there are too many immigrants, right? And they want to stop immigrants from coming. So these people are demonstrating against that. They're saying, wait, stop the deportations. That means stop sending people out of the country, right? Allow them to come here. Allow more immigrants. So America is kind of going through this kind of transition from accepting immigrants historically to saying, wait, we have too many immigrants. So it's kind of a controversial issue in America these days. Okay, so anyway, main idea and details. America is a country with people who moved from other countries, and that's true. You look in America, there's people from all over the place. In fact, it's kind of interesting to give you some personal history. My parents, my dad, his family is Scottish, from Scotland. My mom's family is from Germany and Italy. So you see, people get together and they mix together. And many Americans have this type of shared ancestry, or shared, they're not just from one country, their culture is from many different countries, especially if their families have lived in America for a long time. So America is a country with people who moved from other countries. That's our main idea. We have 3 details to support that idea. First detail is here. Second, third, we have blanks, 3 blanks. We have to fill in those blanks with these words down here. Immigrants, cultures, and a phrase, all over the world. Let's take a look. From the 17th century, long time ago, beep, from Europe moved to the United States. So we're looking for people, right? People from Europe. Which one describes people? Immigrants, cultures, or all over the world? Of course, it's immigrants. Immigrants from Europe moved to the United States. That's a long time ago, when America first became, or was first becoming, before America became a nation. America became a nation in the 18th century, but a long time ago, when America was first being settled by Europeans, immigrants, of course, from Europe came to the United States. That's a long time ago. Nowadays, these days, people come to the United States from where? From all over the world. From all over the world, people come to America. And the last detail, immigrants come to the United States with their what? When immigrants move from one country to another country, what do they bring with them? Well, they're bringing their language, they're bringing their clothes, they're bringing their food, and they're bringing their recreational activities. What do we call all those things together? We call that their culture, their cultures. Immigrants come to the United States with their cultures. And that's what we've been talking about. Okay, so that's interesting. That is our main idea, and these are the details. Okay, let's go over the reading comprehension questions. How well do you remember the reading passage? Let's take a look. What is something you do for fun in your free time? Something you do for fun in your free time. Recreation, language, or immigrate? Do you do language for fun in your free time? Do you study English for fun? You might, but probably not. Most people don't, I'm sure. Okay, sorry. Okay, C, do you immigrate for fun? Hey, let's do something fun. Let's immigrate. That's crazy, right? You wouldn't do that. That's very difficult, actually. So, of course, what is something you do for fun in your free time? The definition, of course, is recreation, right? Not language, or, unfortunately, not language. Some people study language for fun, but most people don't. It's difficult, I know. And also, we don't immigrate for fun. Then everybody would be moving all the time. That's crazy. Okay. Number 2, it is important to beep your parents. It is important to do what with your parents? Move with your parents? Well, that could be. B, go with your parents? depends on the situation. C, get along with. Let's think about all the time. All the time, what is it important to do? To move with your parents, go with your parents, or get along with your parents? Of course, it's important to get along with your parents all the time. And that means so that you don't have any troubles and your parents get along with you. Not just your parents, but also your friends, your classmates, your teachers. It's important to get along with other people. Okay, we're on number 3. Number 3, to move to the United States, what do Europeans have to do? What do Europeans have to do to get to the United States? A, they have to cross the Atlantic Ocean. Well, that makes sense, right? Because Europe is here, America is here. What's between? The Atlantic Ocean. So they had to get in a boat and cross the Atlantic Ocean to get to America. So that is the correct answer. Let's just do B and C for practice. B, they have to bring their culture and clothes. They have to? No, they don't have to. They could leave it behind, get new clothes, and adopt a new culture when they get to America. So B isn't correct. C, they have to speak the same language as others. They don't have to. In fact, many Europeans, when they came to America, they spoke their own language, and their children learned English. So that's not true either. The correct answer is A. Number 4, new immigrants often have what? A, B, or C? A, the same clothes, language, and recreation activities. We have a problem here because new immigrants could be from different countries. Also, they're coming to a new country where things are different. So they don't have the same clothes, language, and recreation activities as the natives or even other immigrants that come at the same time. If Italians, Germans, and Polish people come at the same time, they don't all have the same thing. They don't have the same clothes. They have different clothes. That's B, different language, clothes, and recreation activities. B is the answer there. New immigrants often have different language, clothes, and recreation activities. Let's look at C. European languages, clothes, and recreation activities. That doesn't fit because remember, new immigrants could be from all over the world, not just Europe. So new immigrants from Asia don't have European languages, clothes, and recreation activities. So that's not true either. Okay, let's move on to our chart. Immigrants bring their cultures. True. What do they bring? So we're talking about immigrants from other countries all over the world. They're coming to America, right? What are they bringing with them? They are bringing what? What is this? Thank you, dank you, vielen dank, gracias, grazie. What is that? That's language, right? Here, are you hungry? I get hungry looking at this picture, right? There's many different types of what? Many different types of food. And these types of food are coming from all different countries. In fact, I've heard it said that in America, the most popular food is Italian food, the second most popular is Chinese food, and the third most popular is Mexican food. So I'm thinking, what about American food? What is American food, right? American food really is a mix of food from all different countries. So lots of different cultures bring their language and their food. They also bring what? These people are wearing different clothing or clothes. So people bring different styles of dress. They bring different clothes to America, and it's very distinct. You can see somebody from Germany who wears German traditional clothes and somebody from Greece who wears Greek traditional clothes. They're very different, and you can figure that out just by looking at their clothes. Now, of course, they also bring what else? Things they do for fun, things they do in their spare time, and that, of course, is recreation. So they bring all these different things to America, which is the United States, right? The United States. They bring all these different things to the United States, and that's why the United States is sometimes called a country of immigrants. Because really, most of the people in America, their parents or their parents' parents have come from another country. So this is lesson 3, people find new homes. And we're talking about people who are moving from one country to another country. They are called immigrants. They bring their culture with them. They bring language, food, clothes, recreation, activities to America. And that's why America is called the nation of immigrants. So very interesting. So think about that though. When you think about America and you ask, if you meet somebody from America, remember that, if you ask them, well, what kind of food do you eat in America? Or what do you do in America? Remember, the answers could be very different depending on that person's cultural background or where their parents or family came from. Sure, there are some American activities that most Americans do, but everybody has their own different background, right? So it's very interesting to think about it. And if you do go to America, keep your eyes open. Try to see if you can find out where people in a certain area of America, where they came from. Sometimes you can see very strong German influence or Mexican influence or even Korean influence. Like I told you, sometimes I'm surprised by seeing Korean signs in America. So it's very interesting. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed this lesson. I certainly did. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.